All right, guys, in today's video, we're working on a 2012 Chevrolet Cruze with the GM Ecotec 1.4 liter turbo, and we're going to be doing a pretty simple job today. This coolant reservoir tank is leaking. So if we take a look over here, we can see that there's coolant running down the back of this hose. Now actually, before starting the video, I just went to try and move this hose, and there's nothing. It's broken. So I'm going to get someone here to catch the coolant that's right in here, and then I'll show you how to remove and replace this guy. All right, let's extract this guy with the least amount of damage as we can. I'm going to unclip this hose from this little retainer, and we're just going to work this little drain pan in over here. Make sure there's nothing left, and if it is, it'll come out there. All right, so as you can see here, right, it has broken clean off. So I'll show you how on the new ones, they're a lot more robust in this regard. So we got one more clamp to get off down there, and then we can pull the main hose. So to get this guy off, it's pretty straightforward. There's this clip here right in the front. So you can see right here, there's a clip, and then it's just kind of like a tab that it sits on. So we just need to pry this clip off, and that's all that holds it on. With that clip off, we should be able to lift it out. Something on the back here that it probably slides into. Let me get a mirror and see what that is. All right, guys, there's our culprit right there. If we zoom in the mirror, you see that little white plastic tab? We got to shift that forward. So we got one clip on the bottom, and then just reviewing the others, you got one right here, right down there. It slides into that piece of metal. And then we got the one here that we had the metal retaining clip. So it looks like to get it out, we're going to have to put our hand behind it and push it towards the battery enough to get it out of that groove. There we go. All right. This is the thing we were trying to do, right? So it's got a tab on the bottom that I'll show you in a minute. It sits in here, and then it slides into that slot. At the same time, this guy up here goes right here. And then this guy right here goes right there. So it's here secured in 3 tabs. All right, so now let's get this guy out. So let's see. There's not enough slack. I was hoping I could tilt this up and pour it out in the drain, but it's not enough slack. So what we'll do instead is we will just drain out what's in this tank by hand to not create a mess. So I'm just going to use this suction device to pull all of this coolant out to cut down on the mess. Now, an alternative thing you could do is you could pinch off the hose and just put a catch pan under the car and catch the little bit that spills out there, but this is not too bad, so I'm just going to do it like this. Now, we had just done a repair on this vehicle that had a leaky front inlet hose as well as a cracked water outlet, and when we were doing the final testing for that, the owner noticed this leak in the back too. So 3 leaks at once. All right, that's as much as we're going to get out, I think, with the tool here. See if I can tilt it up just a little bit and try to get a little bit more. Now we're going to get a tool to release this hose clamp so we can pull this guy out. All right, just because of the space, how it's cramped, I'm going to go with one of these extended reach type clamp tools. I'll put a link in the description if this is a tool you're interested in. Just get this guy lined up on this clamp. Okay, come on, guys. Get him backed off of this barb. Come on, let go. This has been sitting on there for 12 years, guys, so he's not happy to be disturbed. I don't like to get my hand in there because sometimes these tools can slip off, but I'm going to have the camera person help me with the tool because it's going to take two hands to, if we zoom in down here where the light is, and you can see that the clamp has just kind of dug itself into the hose, so it's kind of stuck getting off that ridge. All right, guys, I'm going to spray a little bit of silicone on here as a lubricant. It won't damage the hose. And I'm going to come in here with a different tool, a hand tool like this, because the clamp I was using wasn't able to open this up just one hair more to get it past the ridge. There we go. Finally. All right. Now let's see if we can break the adhesion on this hose. Looks good. All right, so we're still going to have a little bit of coolant in here. Try to turn it back like this to drain it towards the back of the reservoir. And this way we didn't lose anything. All right, so we'll take this guy out. We'll sit him right there for a second. And I need to find a tool to hold this guy. Or maybe he will sit. Maybe he'll be kind enough just to sit up and not drain out. Let's see if we can wedge him in behind the ABS. There we go. All right. We're going to replace this with a GM 1346 5094. Now you don't want to get any earlier numbers because this is the number that GM repaired this. So you can see on this guy, there's a brass reinforcement in here to prevent what happened from ever happening again. Right, so you want to get this redesigned type that won't be subject to this problem anymore. All right, so let's move this guy out of the way. We'll put him over here in the drain pan. We'll come back over here and grab our little hose that we had perched right there. All right, got that guy on. And now let's go put that clamp back on. And we'll just use this tool because it lets us get it open a lot more to get over that little hump. Just got to get it to the maximum travel for it to fit in there. All right, I think we've got it back in where it was with the witness marks, maybe just a hair up. Okay, perfect. All right, now let's get this other line on here. I'm going to put the cap on here so no crud falls in. All right, now our line. So the line's got the piece of the bar broke in it. So we got to deal with that. Let me set that right there for a second. I'm going to get a pair of pliers to remove that clamp. Or pull it back, rather. Let's see if I can use just something small like this. This is too small for the big tool, I think. There we go. All right, and now we need something long to pull out that broken piece. Let's see if we can get it with these long, skinny pliers. Kind of break the adhesion just as if it was still attached. There it is. All right, so we extracted that piece. I see a few little fragments breaking off. So we want to make sure, squish those out. Let's put this guy on. Let's get this clamp back into position. These little marks of paint here is where they want the clamp to sit to avoid leaks, right in the middle of that H symbol that you see painted onto the hose. Typical GM thing. And I like to try and put it back in the original depressions it had so that there's less likely a chance it's going to cut into the rubber. This little guy is just twisting on me. Yeah, come on. Come on, baby. There we go. All right. Get all these other tools out of the way. All right, now let's get this guy back in that groove. So if we come on this side, you can see down there, right? You see this piece right here? If you zoom in. So that little piece has got to go in to that T-shaped hole in the body right there. It is a pisser to get back in. There we go. And then we want to get this back clamp onto that L-shaped piece of metal that's sticking out. If you zoom in, right there. And then we want to get our little clip put back on right here. That's it. Now we're going to top it off. We'll get some coolant. We'll get it back where it goes. All right, we're going to top this off with some AC Delco Dexcool 50/50 premix. And we're going to be filling it up to this little arrow. If we zoom in on the side of the reservoir, that arrow points to this molded in line. We're going to fill it up to that line. Just like that. Right? Just to the top of that arrow, below that line. Now we'll start the engine. We'll see if there's any other little air bubbles that got introduced into that hose. Top it off again, but that's basically the job, guys. She's all done. It's not that bad. We had a couple of problems with the clamp. You might run into that too. I'll put links in the description of these kind of tools I have that are used for dealing with those kind of problems. If you have questions or comments about what we did here today, go ahead and leave them below and I'll try to help. If you found this video useful, saved you some money and allowed you to do the repair yourself, pay it forward by hitting that like button. And as always, Thanks for watching. We're just going to pop our hose back in right there.